Izzy, one other thing, I had Neil Friske on the show on Monday, and as you know, he's being primary challenged by Parker Fairburn, the chairman of your Emmett County Republican Party. Your thoughts about this supposed letter that many people signed, and you've looked at this letter, you have names, you're willing to name names on this show. Go ahead. Who signed this letter in support of Parker Fairburn primary challenging Neil Friske?
Yeah, so let me just read a snippet from the letter, which goes like this. This letter serves as a formal request for you to run because we know that you will serve the interest of the people and rise above the nonsense that has silenced our conservative voice. Oh, wonderful to hear some of these people are now identifying as conservatives, which I don't think they are. But here's the list. And let me say at the outset, some of these people are actually my friends, and
Sure.
This is not personal.
Nope.
This is political, and this is how it works. You come out with a McCarthy list. We're going to read it, okay?
Yeah.
So Robert Johnson, former Petoskey City Council, and he's also Parker's father-in-law. David White, Emmett County Commissioner. I served with him when I was a commissioner. I have never seen him endorse anybody except now. Interesting. Tony Dreyer, a great lady. She was very helpful to me. I am very disappointed to see her name on this, quite frankly, as well as Dr. Lou Zako, Mary Jane Zako. Wonderful, adorable people, but why? I think part of it for them is that their ties to Demus. Jonathan Scheel, he was a former county commissioner. He actually helped me in my run for commissioner. He's kind of a reliable moderate, so I'm not too surprised about this. David Lofbaum, he's run for public office. I thought he was known as a libertarian. He's said he was a libertarian, so I don't get this knuckleheaded move on his part. Yep. Brian Wagner, he's on the Petoskey City Council. He is very much a rhino. Pete Wallen, the sheriff, I cannot understand this at all. But again, he's never endorsed anybody in all the time I've been involved. And now there's a picture of him and Parker on the Facebook page, by the way, doing the Posey endorsement thing.
Sure.
Reg Smith, he's the Stafford Hotel guy. You know, those are wonderful hotels by any measure. But again, he's a reliable rhino. He wants stuff from Lansing. James Linderman, the Emmett County former prosecutor. Again, disappointing. I haven't seen him do much endorsing either, and this is an odd one. Brian Gutowski is one of the New York Emmett County commissioners. Again, he's more of a moderate, so not too surprising. Denny Kaiser, I was disappointed. He's the Bear Creek Township supervisor. He's been a good conservative in the fight against the library, so sad to see him because he knows Neil has helped in that. And finally, Creston Scheel, a young friend of mine who has been elected as GOP national delegate, but he is Jonathan's son, so what can I say, right?
You're right.
So, right, all these people are now saying that they don't have conservative government in Lansing, so time for Neil to hit the road, which is utterly ridiculous. That's not what they mean. Neil has a 100% score on the Freedom Index. Parker would be, and Parker's not anyone I have anything personal against. He and his wife actually attended a young married seminar my husband and I hosted.
Sure.
But he is very much going to be in the design of a special interest candidate all the way. This is what these people want, and they're calling conservative. Give me a break.
Now, when you say special interests, what are you specifically referring to? That Parker Fairburn would be part of the lobbyists, the special interest groups in Lansing?
Well, he was endorsed last time by a whole slew of organizations, from the Michigan Farm Bureau to the Chamber of Commerce to Restaurant and Lodging to the Manufacturers Association, the Credit Union, every Tom, Dick, and Harry practically out there that typically endorses Republicans. So who are you beholding for when you get all these endorsements? I mean, I get it. That's part of it. You want the gun people and the life people endorsing you, but for liberty, for limited government, not to get something out of you. So I very much see Parker in that stream of a special interest, let's grow the bureaucracy kind of guy to get along, and we're going to have a seat at the table with the Democrats, right? That kind of thing. Right.
Yeah. Now, one name that was really surprising to me to see on that was Melanie Greenfield up in the UP.
Oh, right, exactly. And, I helped Melanie do meet and greet for Matt DiPerno back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And she was always a very reliable MAGA conservative for limited government, for freedom and all that jazz. I don't know why would she support Parker?
Yeah, I don't get it either. And the other component to this, that I discussed with Neil, last time he ran, and he still to this day supports toll roads in Michigan. He has absolutely no problem whatsoever to go against what John DeMoose votes for. And John DeMoose, of course, voted for the resolution by the Michigan Capitol Commission to ban firearms in our Capitol building. So I'm not even sure where Parker stands on the Second Amendment. I don't see him talking about it in any way, shape, or form, standing up to these red flag laws and other things. But most importantly, the biggest thing that I'm concerned about is because, like what you said, look at his campaign finance report, not only his endorsements, but look at his money, where he's getting money to run. And that proves to be very interesting, tied in with Bergman, DeMoose, and the DeVos family.
Exactly. And to this day, I have not heard any of these people who are so concerned about conservative government tell me, what vote of Neil's do you object to? They can't even say that. Neil has voted on our behalf against those red flag laws, against that Reproductive Health Act, against the silly Crown Act, which protects hair rights of all things. He's voted against the DEI nonsense. I'm counting on him to vote against driver's license for illegals and the homeschool registry. Exactly what is wrong with this man's record?
Right. 100% conservative voting, according to MERS News Service in the House Freedom Caucus.
Right. And Neil recently he's hosted several fantastic events. I've gone to almost all of them in Emmett County and a couple outside the county. They're substantial, they're meaty, they're information oriented. And he had an excellent one recently that was about immigration and enforcement. And he had a couple of prosecutors and the chief of police from the Sioux. It was meaty, meaty, meaty. And you know what? I didn't see Parker there.
No. Or any of these people on this list.
Exactly. Thank you. Right?
Yeah, very interesting. Well, here's the other aspect to this. And one thing I think people need to understand. This kid, Parker Fairburn, has been groomed for politics. It's what his college degree was in, political science. His family business has been in the area for decades, very well known. And I think this kid is being formed to be a state rep, a state senator, and potentially maybe go to Washington, D.C. down the road after DeMoose is done filling Jack Bergman's role, and I think representing the 1st District in Washington, D.C. What's your thoughts about that?
It's all very possible that he's very much a part of what I call the DeMoose-Bergman industrial complex. Why not, right? They have to keep the thing alive and going, and I have no idea to some extent why. But these people get co-opted. They become swampy creatures, and this is what we get. We get a young man who's honestly he's a nice guy. He's been well brought up. You can tell he has very good manners, but he's got a long way to go. He has not done a great job with the Emmett County Republicans. I would say very lackluster. I've heard the complaints. I don't want to get too personal here, but he has not done a good job. When we've had Rich Ginnup attacked for his views, his votes on the health board, all the people that came to meetings, I hardly saw anyone from the executive board coming. I certainly didn't see Parker.
Yeah. I got a text message from County Commissioner William Hamilton down in Lapeer County. He says, Randy, it's the establishment crowd striking back from the grassroots wins that we got in 2022. It's happening in my county down here against me as well. I guess he might even be primary challenged by establishment. The question is this. When they talk about in this letter and on Facebook posts and all this other garbage, they claim that they want better, more conservative representation in Lansing. How can you get any better than 100% conservative rating?
I do not know. And I have heard the complaint that Neil is not on committees, as if that was something. What Republican on any of these committees is getting any of their legislation through? I think it's zero.
It is zero.
Right. And so what's the point of that? I mean, Camp Cabot's on these committees. What's happening with him? He's voting for corporate welfare. He is voting for their stuff. Every time you vote for their stuff, you increase the bureaucracy. And every time you increase the bureaucracy, you limit the freedom of the American people and the people of Michigan. And that is how Venezuela fell, because of the massive bureaucracy of government.
Exactly. In the House budget that passed 56 to 49, because, of course, 5 Republicans were absent, kind of conveniently. But it was all Democrat votes. Izzy, the Republicans put 212 amendments. It was 8 hours of voting. They put up 212 amendments to the proposed budget coming out of the House, and not one of them, including Cam Kavitz, was approved and incorporated into the budget.
Yes, thank you. You make the point. What are you going to do? That's just the way it is. Give Neil another chance, especially if we can take the House back. You know he's going to vote on good legislation one way or the other. You know it. He has a record already. He's
not only that, Izzy, but you know darn well he will be advocating and fighting for a great speaker when they take the majority back. And I've already been told that Parker Fairburn is supporting Matt Hall to be a speaker. Why? Because Matt Hall is probably going to donate to his campaign.
There you go. Why would we want Matt Hall again?
Exactly.
Or at all.
At all. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
You guys at ERG, Emmett Responsible Government, you guys got some meetings planned real quick here in the last 30 seconds?
Yeah, thank you so much. We do. We have a meeting on June the 12th at the Bowling Alley Northern Lights Recreation, and we will be hosting Mr. Dan Lyman, who is my son, and he's the editor of Border Hawk News, so we're going to do a lot of great immigration night. We're also invited Sherry O'Donnell, and she's going to do a little pseudo meet and greet there and talk about her trip to the border. And we're obviously going to invite some of the candidates that are running for office, too, for sheriff and for county commissioner. So it should be a great night. I hope you can come, Randy.
Yes, June 12th. Text me the information. I'll keep promoting it, and I'll put it on our calendar.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Izzy. Appreciate your investigative reporting and everything you guys are doing. God bless you.
All right. Same. Thank you.